Steven! You ever flown home and then immediately fly to a new destination the next day?
No, but I've flown home and then driven some extended time to a new destination the next day.
Was that part of the the trip, or was that a separate trip?
It was a separate trip.
Okay. Well, yeah, you flew home. Okay.
Yeah, it was last year, 2 years ago. Went to a wedding in England in October, went there for like 5 days, and then came back, and the next morning had to drive to Los Angeles.
Gotcha. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing, even though I'm not technically leaving today, but flew home last night from Hawaii, 6 hours in all. Got home last night, and what feels like today bleeding into tomorrow. Yeah, technically tomorrow. I'll be flying to see my mom in Houston at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yay. Yeah. So we do. It's what we do. We travel. Got another question for you. Is it that weird? And this was a big talking point on Dirty Work, and I don't know why it had to be. Is it that weird to not do maid service or turn down service when you're at a hotel for a couple of days?
So you're saying, like, just have the housekeepers in?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily like. How long were you there though, and just didn't have it?
I had it. Here's the deal. I got in on Sunday. Had the housekeepers come in Monday to clean everything up, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, Tuesday I was working on the show. Didn't want to be disturbed while I was prepping everything, and left my do not disturb sign on. It was only for a couple of days. Then Thursday they came in and cleaned everything. Is it that crazy for 2 days to not have turn down service?
I don't believe that it is.
Yeah, well, for whatever reason, I'm the crazy person on this fucking show.
I haven't stayed in a hotel for an extended period of time in a while, so I think I would have to have been on that trip to opine whether you're crazy or not for having that happen. I'd like to say no, but why didn't you want it though? Like, why not? I mean, you have maids come in. It's nice.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But everyone assumed like, well, you were just using dirty towels, and I'm like, no, I'm not. They give you 4 towels, and I don't need to be gluttonous with my towel use. No, for whatever reason, I just forgot. I left it on my door, and they do kind of throw your stuff around kind of liberally, where like, like you got your clothes in certain spots, and they're like, where my shoes go? Oh, they put them under there. That's nice of them, but I don't know where the hell it is. So I don't know. I'm kind of particular like that, but like it wasn't that big of a deal. Then Thursday they come in, they give you brand new sheets and towels and whatnot. So needless to say, I had a good time in Hawaii. Fantastic time. Beautiful place. Very thankful that I got to go. But 5 days in Hawaii with your coworkers is enough time, I would say. After a while, Copes is getting on my nerves. Tim's getting on my nerves. Brian Murphy's getting on my nerves. That's enough. It's time to come home.
5 days in Hawaii.
5 days of Murph. That's enough.
Did you guys go to a luau? Did you guys go to the beach? What'd you do?
No, dude, luau's cost money. It was like $250 to go to a luau, or to swim with the manta rays. But you could see them from a distance. If you were on a certain ledge, you could see the manta rays in the water, and they light up, and it was pretty cool. The Mauna Kea Beach Hotel, beautiful spot. Just it was a kind of a pain in the ass to get off the resort. Like if you called a Lyft or an Uber, it took an ungodly amount of time because not many people come to that area.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we got a nice woman that we met through Lyft that was able to pick us up without the app to take us to the airport. I had a great time. But 5 days with coworkers. That's enough.
It'd be a lot. It'd be a lot.
Tacky's asking here, and now he goes by Tacky69. Derek, you got to rank coworkers from most to least annoying. One day I will, Tacky. One day I will. But
I don't know
you know
if
what?
that's really.
If you hear me talk enough, you kind of get a vibe of who's the most annoying to least annoying.
Yeah. Also, Tacky, I can guarantee you that people at the radio station are not going to love it if just one of the random hosts is ranking the coworkers from most to least annoying when they don't have a say at all.
Yeah.
Like, on a separate podcast when you're working with a dude who works for another station.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that would gain you many fans.
Yeah. No, I mean, but you know what? I do remember going on 95.7 and ranking who's the biggest egos amongst the hosts. And let's just say some hosts were not happy about that.
Ooh, did you do that on the show?
I did during Caboose Pistol, and I think I was like just to mess with Bonte, I had him third, and then I went Damon, and then my dad.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
Fortenbaugh was funny. He's like, "What? I'm not top three? Come on."
Yeah. 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 He would be mad at that.
He would be. Just your opinion, man. Just your pregame show, man. We're coming to you on a Sunday morning. It's been a while since we've done something like this, but as I said, I was flying all day, so we're only do this on YouTube today because if we did podcast version, it's gonna be dated really quickly with all the games happening in about 2 hours. So we'll go into that. We'll pick all the games. We'll talk about the Braden Aiyuk saga apparently coming to an end. But if you listen to Kyle Shanahan yesterday, doesn't sound like he's thinking that way. Talk about the Raiders matchup against Shedeur Sanders and the Bills Thursday night loss to the Texans. But before we do that, Steven, did you watch the Warriors game on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, I got the highlights last night. 3 losses in a row. The Magic game sucked earlier this week, especially when Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler go off, but you're not getting a lot of productivity from everybody else. Seems to be the case for the last few games, with the exception of the Moses Moody game on Sunday night against the Pelicans. The Heat game, whatever. I mean, they put up a good fight, but most of the stars did not play. And Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler. And then on Friday night, they lose 127-123 to the Portland Trailblazers.
Mhm.
And I was willing to give them a pass for most of the season until Friday night, where you're on this homestand and it's what, 5 games or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you're playing the likes of the Trailblazers, the Utah Jazz, the Rockets, one more team in there that I'm forgetting, and you got the Thunder.
Right.
And I thought you at least should have gone 4-1 to start off with a loss, especially a loss where you give up this amount of points. Disappointing. This is the first loss of the season where I was upset with the outcome. And I know that the Trailblazers shot the lights out of the gym with a ton of 3-pointers. But when you have Steph Curry score 38 points and you had Jimmy Butler having a good night as well and Brady Pajemski scoring some points off the bench, you should have won that game. I don't think the Trailblazers, I mean, they might be a young and upcoming team, and it looks like they are, but that should be a game you win at home. And I know in the post game, Steve Kerr said it's not really our defense I'm concerned about, it's our offense.
Right.
And then Jimmy Butler kind of switched it up and said, no, I'm concerned about the defense. I'm kind of with Jimmy. Like, yes, the offense doesn't have a flow right now, but when you score 123 points and you give up 127, I have to say it's on the defense.
Sure. I just think they are missing the one piece that was making them a much better team. I actually think they're missing Jonathan Kuminga right now. The problem with the Blazers is they just got beat by a younger, more athletic team that was just constantly crashing the boards, getting rebounds. I know a lot of people are down on Jonathan Kuminga, but I personally think they could have absolutely used him against the Blazers that Friday night, because Moses Moody's a really good player, but you're not going to get someone who could score at will. Like, when the shot's created for him, he knows when to take the open shots, but that doesn't always happen. There's not a lot of guys who can just, like Kuminga. Kuminga is really the only other one besides Jimmy and Steph who can get their own, who could create their own shot. Everything else has to be created for the others. Like, Brandon Pajemski tries, but I don't really know like what his, I know he plays with a ton of energy and a ton of effort, but I don't really know what his skill set is in terms of scoring. Like, I wouldn't call him like a lights out 3-point shooter. When he goes up for layups, half the time I'm thinking, well, is he going to pass this off and accidentally turn the ball over? And the mid-range game, I don't really know. Like, I don't really know what type of asset he is to the offense. So I just think they were really missing a guy like Jimmy Butler who could have combated a little bit of that athletic nature that the Blazers were giving you last night. And the Blazers are a much better team than I kind of gave them credit for. Like, Donovan Clingan's becoming a better player. Denny Avdija, I keep on wanting to call him Avija. When he was getting drafted, I wanted the Warriors to draft him. I was coming up with some crazy scheme how they were going to trade down because I think it was drafted in 2020, the Wiseman draft. I came up with some crazy scheme how they were going to trade down and get Denny, and I kept calling him Avija and acting like that's the correct pronunciation. I'm like, everyone's saying it's this way. It's actually Avija, but in matter of fact, it's Avdija.
Gotcha.
I believe. So, they're a much better team than I think I was giving them credit for going into it, but it's still a team that the Warriors should have beaten. And I mean, I don't really side with Kerr or Butler. I think both are an issue in this game. Like I agree with Butler. Yeah, you need to get stops. I'm not going to be okay with the Warriors giving up 127 points to the Blazers. But on the other side of it, I do think they need something else besides some scoring from Steph and Jimmy. And
Yeah.
again, I'll just repeat it again. It's just I think they needed Kuminga in a game like that on Friday.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been saying for a while now. Not the Kuminga part, but just I didn't mean to sound like a wet blanket a week ago when Steph Curry goes off for 48 against the San Antonio Spurs. But I'm just like this isn't sustainable. Yes, it's electric, it's fun to watch, but at the same time, like you need more than just Steph. And I know that's crazy to say, but it's true. So I hear you on Kuminga. I thought the Anthony Slater article was kind of interesting, where I was like, where is this all coming from right now? Where in the article, basically Kuminga, he doesn't say it, but I guess somebody from the team says it feels like he's being the scapegoat right now. And
It was a team. It was a source.
Teams,
and
it was a team
I don't
source.
know. A source speaking to ESPN. Who do you think that source is?
Aaron Turner.
Right. We all know who it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but he's not related to the team, though.
Still, but he could speak on how Kuminga feels.
Of course, but when they're saying like a source with the team, I don't relate that to Aaron Turner, though.
Oh, did they say a source with the team?
Yes.
Hmm.
So I think it's somebody behind, someone that plays on the roster right now. And I think that, I don't know if that was directly from Kuminga that he says that he feels like a scapegoat. The article was interesting in that before the season, it gives details really about Kuminga's relationship with Jimmy Butler, about how he didn't go to that team gathering in San Diego. And Jimmy Butler understood that. And Jimmy Butler can empathize with Kuminga about, the way he's, I guess, being treated, in that that doesn't feel good to not be wanted or don't know your place on a team. And he kind of relates that to his time in Miami, which was a little different. I would say it's a little different. I think that was more of Jimmy's doing. And Kuminga's never been as demonstrative as Jimmy Butler was a year ago, where he was doing press conferences saying, I don't have a lot of joy right now. But Kuminga did, talk to Shams and other people and say that he's lost faith in Steve Kerr. The interesting part to me, though, was Kuminga telling Steve Kerr that he's working on, playing with Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy's saying, like, that's something we need to do a lot more in the non-Steph minutes, where let's go more ISO-centric and not rely on the three-point shot. And when they had their second game of the season against Denver, he was going to take Kuminga out of the starting lineup, and he told Draymond that he wanted to start Quinn and Post to have more size. And Draymond was like, nah, we shouldn't do that already. You're going to lose momentum with the kid. So they did that. It's going well. Steve said that he's earned the right to be, a starter for most games, or all the games. And now that we saw a little success without Kuminga, now people are like, okay, well, let's go to this new lineup with Moses Moody and Will Richard. And I'm not ready to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Kuminga is the answer, because with the way they're playing right now, it's kind of reminiscent of a year ago where they started 12-3 and then started shit in the bed. So I think it's kind of more along those lines right now with a 9-9 record. But let's see when Kuminga's healthy. Like, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion he should be out of the starting rotation.
It's too early to have this article, really. It is. Because he was really, because in the starting five, you have three stable guys in there, right? We know Steph, Butler, and Draymond. And then, as the article points out, like when they went on to lose 5 of their next 7, it counted as a demotion of Jonathan Kuminga. And he might have viewed it as a demotion, but I looked at it as Steve Kerr's just trying something different here, as the Warriors are on a losing skid and they're trying to just create any sort of chances at winning, because when Kuminga was playing, they're not. So it's like, do they really want to balance his feelings versus, I don't know, switching things up? Because you're just not going to bench Draymond, Steph, or Jimmy.
Well,
Maybe
well,
Draymond. I don't know.
well, just one thing I think people are forgetting about is he had a knee injury.
Right. There's
Like
also that.
yeah, like that's not like we're kind of like overlooking that, where that might be a big reason as to why he didn't start. Like
Yeah.
Steve's just trying to like help him out with less minutes.
Yeah.
And I know, like, some people will be like, who cares if he has an injury or not? He played. Why would you have him come off the bench? Yeah, you're switching it up a little bit, but I think we're overlooking the fact that he's injured. That's why they may have gone to this.
Yeah. And it's too much in the feelings, man. It's too much drama. Like,
Yeah, I know. It's way too soon for all this bullshit.
I'm just it's way too early. It's not even Christmas yet. We're not even out of November, and we're already talking about this team's chances in the Western Conference. Like, I'm not saying we're going to have a stretch post-trade deadline like they had last year, but a 23-8 record led them to fighting for a top 6 spot in the West. Like, it's too big picture stuff for me. Like, I don't really care for it. I really don't. I'm kind of taking this on a game by game basis here. It's just, they come out losing on Friday night, and you mentioned that schedule they have. Well, what if they rip off 4 in a row? Then how are we going to be talking about this team the next weekend that we're talking Warriors? It's just nonstop. It's just such a cycle of things. And on top of that, you got Draymond like fighting with, it feels like, the rest of the NBA on his podcast. It's just not doing them any favors either. So
yeah, what's going on with Kenyon Martin?
I don't know. Kenyon Martin taking shots at him, and now they're just going back and forth on podcast, which makes for great content. Let's just go back and forth on separate podcasts.
Yeah. I'm with you, Steven. We're only reacting to this because it just happened Friday, and not many people are reacting to the Warriors loss. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna. I'm like I think that we sometimes treat, because the Warriors are a huge deal, we treat it like it's every game's like an NFL game, where it's like, how do they lose this game? It's a long fucking season. Steve Kerr told you the other day, like, they're trying to minimize the amount of games. Yeah. I think that Steve's, he's not naive. He even said in the same breath, like, that's not going to happen. The league's not going to take money away. I think there is something to what he's talking about. But at the same time, I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of the drama. Talk to me after Christmas. To me, that's when the NBA starts, honestly. So I don't know. I'm not going to make a big deal about things right now, but I'm not a fan of losing a home game with the Portland Trailblazers, especially when you lost them already this season. And I kind of poo-pooed that, like, whatever. It's a game off a back-to-back.
Yeah. I do wonder, though, like, if this is a situation, because obviously Slater's going to come asking about it, about the Kuminga and how he's feeling. Yeah. I wonder if this is a situation where, if it's just one team source, maybe Kuminga didn't want this getting out there. Like the other ones, it felt like, okay, like these are calculated. Like, he's pining to get traded. Like, this is what he wants. But I don't know about this one. This might be a different type of article where it's not Kuminga that's who's creating the drama. It's another team source who probably shouldn't have revealed that, because I think Kuminga's smart enough to know he's not getting traded till January 15th if he is getting traded anyway. So why create a stink 2 months leading into the deadline?
To build it up, but I doubt that he's trying to do that right now. It doesn't make any sense. And to everything that I've said about Kuminga in the past, yes, there are times where I've not liked the way he's gone about it, but I don't think he's done anything horrible where I'm like, get him out of here. So yeah, I'm not overreacting to any of that. I think that nothing against Anthony Slater. That article was just way too melodramatic for me at this point in the season.
Right
now. Last night was some good old-fashioned trash talk. Did you see this with Klay Thompson and Ja Morant?
I did.
This is maybe the most intelligent and caring way to talk trash about somebody. So last night, Ja Morant and Klay Thompson get into it. But did this stem from somebody going after Cooper Flagg?
Yes.
Okay. So, and Klay said that, like, he's not a fan of the Grizzlies. One of my favorite things that Klay has ever said is post the NBA championship, the NBA finals, and he goes back to Jaren Jackson talking about how much of a bum he is. He doesn't like them. he talked about how somebody from, I forget who in particular, but talked about how, I go back to 2022 during the playoffs and somebody broke my guy GP2's elbow, and I'm not a fan of that type of play.
Yeah.
And John Moran was talking shit to Klay Thompson last night, and then it led to that's in the clip, Steven?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wait,
this is Klay.
the John Morant one or the Klay Thompson?
Did Ja say something about Klay last night?
Yeah, you saw him saying you're a bum now.
Oh yeah, no. I didn't know if it was a post game. Yeah, John Morant calls Klay a bum, and then Klay says this post game.
Well, a brutal takedown.
With Ja, he's a funny guy. He has a lot to say all the time, especially for a guy who rarely takes accountability. But you know what? That's for another day.
What did Ja have to say on this occasion?
Nothing of intelligent depth. His just running his mouth, and he's been running his mouth for a long time. And it's funny to run your mouth when you're on the bench. It's kind of the story of his career so far, just leaving us wanting more. We all want to see him out there and do his best, but he's just been letting a lot of other stuff get in the way of that. And we need that in the NBA. We need our best players to be out there. And when you're a star, it comes with a great responsibility. And I hate to see that go to waste.
That was the most mature I've ever seen Klay Thompson. That was great.
Yeah.
And, like the Rodney Magruder thing, like who cares about Rodney Magruder when he called him out during a game? But that was fantastic to go equal parts. Like, I feel sorry for this guy. Like we want to see him perform and, live up to expectations, and then be like, he's basically calling him out for all the gun stuff and being suspended. That was fantastic by Klay Thompson,
dude. But the thing is, Ja's not going to listen to that.
No, of course not.
There's a message there. It's very layered. It's not just him calling him out and saying that, oh, he's a bum too. Like, this is, hey, dude, you're barking at the wrong tree here. Like, you are barking up the wrong tree here. Like, This is not what you want. Sit on the bench. You're injured all the time. Figure out why that is. Stop talking all this trash and instead get back to getting on the court, because we know how talented you are. We know how good of a player you are, yet no one ever watches you play because you're always suspended or hurt. Actually, I got to give credit to Tim Hardaway Sr. when he came in with Bonte and Shasky one day, and we were talking out of the studio, and we were talking about like the best up and coming point guards, and Ja was in this kind of, I guess, in his heyday. And he said, dude, he's like, Ja's as talented as a player as I've ever seen, but with how explosive he is, like, I don't know about the injuries. Like, maybe the health can catch up at some point, like, and he didn't say that was for sure going to happen, but he said that it might, and you never know when you're that type of player. And now it kind of is. And yeah, I don't know, man, just Klay is a smart dude. He's a very, very smart guy. Like, if he was still playing for the Warriors, and maybe they're already making it up right now, but I guarantee you Warriors World is coming out with a shirt that said you lack intelligent depth or something.
Yeah, no, that was a great line, because he definitely thought about his words there.
Yeah.
But I will say, I loved everything Klay Thompson said. I did laugh at some post last night where it's the people like quote tweeting John Morant saying you're a bum now to Klay Thompson. And I guess Sentel was like, Klay's response to that, I'm gonna tell Megan you said that. And that was funny last night. Did you also see the Vucevic thing?
Yes.
So the Bulls, the Bulls have a really good record right now, don't they? They're like number one in the East.
Yeah.
Post game, it was reminiscent of, I forget who the player was with Blake Griffin, but Blake Griffin won a game with the Detroit Pistons, and his teammate was like, "Yeah, man, we won." And Blake's like, "Dude, shut up, get off the court, shut up right now." It's also kind of reminiscent of like the young Lakers having fun on the court, and then Kobe Bryant's getting interviewed by Jimmy Kimmel, and he's like, "So if if you were out there, like, would you react this way? He looks and he just gives him a look like, dude, fuck these kids. This is Vucevic last night in a 1-point win. I forget who they won against, but he's not as thrilled as his teammates.
For 3 quarters, whatever, we were very soft. They gave no resistance. Ooh, man, we gave no resistance.
Come on, be happy, man.
We gave no resistance. We didn't do anything that we talked about.
That's awkward. Where that is a young team that doesn't know how to win yet. I mean, they're winning right now, but they don't know how to handle winning. Where there's good wins, there's also some bad wins sometimes. Where you realize you probably shouldn't have won that game, and you build upon that, but you don't act like, hell yeah, man, we won.
They think they're the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like,
yeah, after all their post games,
doing things.
What's up?
I said that's the new way of doing things. Where
everyone just goes in and all the teammates have fun after the win.
Yeah, man. Like that's been the whole shtick. They go with their local reporter Nick Gallo and they start dressing towels over his head and whatever they can, and it's fun when everyone's involved. But when you have a veteran like Vucevic, who's well into his 30s now, like he has no time for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man. Like, let's just do this report. Let's get out of here. I don't want to do this. I actually like it when the Thunder do it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's new. I think this is kind of the old version of basketball. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but if you don't have your team bought into what they're trying to sell, yeah, there's clearly something there where Vucevic is like, come on, man. Can we just get to this? Can we just get to this and get some locker room? I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, like I get it. Like that's a thing with the Thunder, and that's their thing. And I don't know how they handle it when like it's kind of like a close game like that. But they're all relatively young on the OKC Thunder.
They also beat the Wizards.
Exactly.
1-14 Wizards going into the game.
So that's why Vucevic, I'm sure he's like, dude, I'm not happy with the way we played in that game. It should have been different. It's not like AJ Brown where he's just moping and wanting the ball after every win. Like this is just like, dude, like kind of read the room when it comes to wins sometimes too. Like I'm sure like if, can you imagine if who on the Warriors would do that? But like, I don't know, like if Will Richard or somebody was like doing that to Steph, and Steph was like, dude, we've won 4 championships here. Like understand the mentality of every win here.
Right. Who was that dude in the glasses? I probably should know.
No idea. But like, you know what? The fact that he's wearing glasses too kind of made it more funny. He was like, come on, man, be happy. And Vucevic was like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And the other guy was in the dunk contest last year.
Yeah.
Buzelis, I think is his name. Or something like that. But having a guy who's not even in the starting 5 either. I recognize everyone in the starting 5. He's definitely not in the starting 5. Having that dude come up and say, come on, man, have some fun. It's like he just beat the Wizards by 1.
Exactly. All right, let's move over to some football. The Buffalo Bills had a fantastic win just a couple of days ago, or a week ago exactly, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where I was saying you should probably put Josh Allen in the MVP discussion once again with 3 touchdown passes and 3 rushing touchdowns. And then on Thursday night, they get their ass kicked by the Houston Texans. And it was a close game, 23-19. But Josh Allen got sacked 8 times. And I think it was that one hit from Will Anderson where he kind of like was lying on the ground and you could tell like his back hurt. His legs were kind of writhing around a little bit where like, ooh, something's wrong here. And I don't think that Josh Allen's hurt now. It's just that rattled him. But they were running the ball really well. They started that game off with a big touchdown run by James Cook. They also got that kick return by Ray Davis, but that was basically their offense.
Right.
And Keon Coleman has not lived up to expectations. We all love him in his post-game, or not post-game, but just some of the sound bites we've heard throughout his career. He's been a healthy scratch the last 2 weeks in relation to missing meetings. And they just don't have a lot receiver-wise. I believe Dalton Kincaid wasn't back for this game.
Mm-hmm.
But like, this is where, I was talking about how the offense is so orchestrated with the Buffalo Bills now. And in this game, they're running the football well. But if one thing's thrown off, then Josh has to play Superman, but he doesn't have the wide receivers to play Superman with. He doesn't have a Stephon Diggs. He has Gabe Davis back, but it's not the same Gabe Davis. So, yeah, you saw Josh Allen struggle in this game. That will probably cost him MVP. Maybe we'll see. There's a ton of football left too, but throwing 2 bad interceptions to the safety Bullock, and he also forced a fumble. So yeah, after this loss, Steven, I don't think they're winning the AFC East. Even if they end up tied with the Patriots, like they have to win out, in my opinion, in order to have the same record as the Patriots. They have to go into Foxborough and beat them in the coming weeks. But the Patriots could easily sweep the Dolphins, and then that's what gives the Patriots the division. So I think you're looking at maybe the Buffalo Bills and the Chiefs having to go on the road for the entire postseason if they make the AFC playoffs.
For sure, but I think this is I wonder where Josh Allen's at mentally, like as far as seeing the field, because he's already thrown 9 interceptions. He only threw 6 all last year.
Yeah.
And that final play was, I think, glaring because it's 4th and 1. You don't have to push it downfield. Like, as a matter of fact, going over the middle of the field was a worse decision than having the wide open tight end who's crossing across the, I think he was on the left hash mark. He had a wide open tight end.
Was it 4th and 1 or was it 4th and
6? Sorry, I always keep going back to that.
No, all good.
But he also had I keep forgetting about that damn false start on Deion Dawkins.
Yeah.
But he had a wide open tight end on a crossing route.
Yeah.
And had he dished the ball out to him, he would have gone out of bounds. They would have had plenty of time. I'm not saying they would have won the game, but I think there's something in his mind where he's just not seeing the field, or maybe that was just one specific play that I'm nitpicking from, but this was just a play or a game where it didn't seem like he had much trust in his roster. And how can he right now? Like Keon Coleman, I don't know how he hasn't realized, like, I'll give him time. He's a young NFL player. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a bum and he should be done with if Bills need to trade him. But as their first overall draft selection, or their first draft selection in 2024 in the second round, like, he's got to realize he's supposed to be the heir apparent to Stephon Diggs. Like, there's a reason they took him as high. It's because they wanted him to be a vital part of the offense. And showing up, not showing up to team meetings or showing up late to team meetings, I haven't even looked into it all that much. It really makes people go back and use those post-game clips. I'm seeing someone use the coat thing that we loved. Remember the whole yellow coat?
Yeah, but that shouldn't have any relevance to him now.
It doesn't. It's but people are going to go back to that because people are psychos on social media and will try to use any receipt that they might have on you and use it against you. And they're currently using anything from Keon Coleman against him right now. I think time will heal all, but I don't think Josh Allen really trusts that much in his offense besides James Cook right now.
Well, I mean, how could he when he sacked 8 times? Like, and give credit to the Texans. Like Davis Mills and his long neck, he's looked pretty good the last 4 weeks. He's got a huge neck, but yeah, that defense is ridiculous with their 2 pass rushers, and the secondary is great too. I just thought with their ability to run the football early, they would win this game, but it really was the missed PAT from Matt Prater where they were driving at the end of the game. Had they tied the game up 23-23, who knows when you go to overtime? The Bills could have snuck out a victory there. You're like, all right, close game, but in the end we won. I thought they were going to win the game when they converted that 4th and 27 where Josh throws the pass. I think it was to Josh Palmer. And then he laterals, does a little hook and ladder to convert it. And I was like, okay, they're going to win this game now. But yeah, as you said, Steven, the 4th and 6, Josh gets spooked, throws a ball up in the air, gets picked off. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that this Bills team was going to be the class of the AFC this year. And I think right now, again, like I'm still not buying the Patriots. I'm still not, and I don't want to sound like Cam Newton here where it's fool's gold, but they are really good. We'll get to him later. But just because of the quarterbacks, I'm not buying Drake May, Bo Nix, who am I forgetting? Daniel Jones. It's just, it is going to be interesting where this might be one of those seasons where, like back in the day where Tom Brady and Peyton Manning were wildcard teams, had to go on the road, where it might be difficult, but this is where you see these guys truly become great and have to overcome these really good defenses in road playoff games. So this might be the most challenging, even if they don't play the Chiefs in the postseason, this might be the most challenging playoff run for the Bills.
Sure.
If they get there, and I'm assuming they still will, but they're going to have to look like a different team the rest of the way.
For sure. The NFL is weird right now.
Yeah, it is.
It's in a weird spot. Like a lot of
Definitely.
these teams we expected to be at the top are just not. You mentioned all the ones that are shining right now. Like it's in a really weird place, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, it makes for good parody. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because I don't think any of the home favorites in the AFC right now, as it stands in the standings, uh, I don't know if they're going to be there in the end.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It also scares me because it feels like it's paving the way for the Chiefs to just come over and come in and take over the rest of the league, even though they're 5-5 right now. They have a +7. This was helped by the Raiders. They have a +73 score differential. And
yeah,
they're
that
5 and
helps.
5. They're 5-5. That's the
Yeah,
highest differential with any team that's hovering around a 500 record right now.
and we'll get a good gauge today. Like I think if the Chiefs win against the Colts today, then you're like, okay, then doesn't matter the record, they'll still
Yeah.
get in the playoffs and they'll be fine. If they lose today with the Colts coming off a bye, I'm like, all right, I don't know right now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think teams to watch in this second half, like as far as ones we thought were going to be good. Well, I'm kind of choosing my AFC representative, but I think the Ravens at 5-5. I think watch out for them because their defense usually picks up in the second half of the season.
Okay.
And I just think this is opening the door for them. I think this makes actually for a much more interesting second half rather than one going into it where it just feels like every team has won so many games already at this point that they can afford to lose maybe 2 or 3 for the rest of the season, and they're fine. They're still going to win their division. I'm almost glad the Bills lost on Thursday.
Oh, damn. Okay. So we got a Monday night game between the Panthers and 49ers. Pretty good matchup. We'll get to it a little later as we pick these games. But we got a Rossini Silver Bomb. I'm trying to find a creative way to come up with that, but I can't at the moment. Friday afternoon, we got news that Brandon Aiyuk, his contract has been voided by the San Francisco 49ers. And when I saw this, I was like, not surprised, but I'm surprised at the timing of all this. So if you didn't see on Friday, Brandon Aiyuk, just a year and a half ago from when he signed that contract, I think it was 4 years that pays him $30 million a year. His contract, all the guarantees have been voided because he's missed multiple team meetings and did not fulfill his contractual obligations. So Aiyuk is not getting $26 million owed to him next season because with the contract he received based on his base salary and bonuses. Aiyuk also, this is the most interesting part, declined to file a grievance with the NFLPA. So, like, remember, during training camp, how we were talking about Christian Wilkins getting cut by the Raiders and then voiding his guarantees because he didn't do everything in his power to get back on the football field. He filed a grievance with the NFLPA at an interesting time where shit was going crazy with the NFLPA. Brandon Aiyuk doesn't give a damn about getting that money back. He just wants to get the fuck off the Niners. Now, yesterday, Kyle Shanahan addresses the media and kind of plays it off like, yeah, this was something in July, guys. And it's funny that Kyle's like, yeah, this was big news to us back in July. You guys are just finding about it today.
No way. The 49ers are downplaying something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I get it. Like, that's not his job to divulge those things. But yeah, something happened. Kyle's making it sound like it's not because of missed team meetings. Like, he's like, a lot of guys miss team meetings when they're injured. That's not the reason why we are voiding his contract. And so many people were like, so what happened? And he's like, I'm not telling you guys that. Something happened in July that goes beyond me as a coach. Lawyers got involved. There's a reason why we voided the contract. And Kyle kind of plays it off like, if Brandon wants to be here, he has a place here. And I hope that he plays football this season. That's still on the table. But when asked, what the relationship like is between him and Brandon Aiyuk, he was like, well, I've had a hard time getting a hold of him. And there's been multiple times where during that press conference, someone asked, what changed since last late August, early September when you guys signed the contract to now? And he's like, you have to ask him.
Yeah.
So Kyle's not going to divulge everything to us. He doesn't have to. But he's going to have the positive attitude as a head coach to say, I hope he comes back. There's still a place for him. But everything I read on Friday and everything that Brandon Aiyuk has been about, like, let's not forget, even after the contract, everything's been kind of weird, where they had the whole incident on the practice field where he kicked his shorts off. This whole offseason, John Lynch has not been shy about it. They were trying to trade Brandon Aiyuk,
Right.
but no one was going to take on that salary with a guy that tore his ACL and MCL. Not to mention the one press conference. Sorry, I know I'm rambling here, but not
fine.
to mention the press conference where they talked about the matchup with the Carolina Panthers. Kyle talks glowingly about Teteroa McMillan and also said that if he was there at 11, we would have drafted him. That's interesting to me because that would have been back-to-back drafts where you draft a wide receiver. So I always thought that Brandon Aiyuk was going to be gone, and it was cemented on Friday. So we're not going to know, and eventually I think we're going to find out. We don't know it currently, but at this moment, we don't know what happened with Brandon Aiyuk in July. But yeah, with everything that he posted yesterday, I'm talking about Aiyuk. I guess there were some videos where he said I'm gone, and there's a video of him like showing like him buying a necklace. I think Brandon Aiyuk has gone about this thing, the whole process of getting the contract and everything afterwards, just totally the wrong way.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I mean, duh.
I know, but yeah, I think this is coming to an end. Anybody that thinks that they're holding out hope that he's going to play this season, I highly doubt that. So yeah, I think the Brandon Aiyuk saga is over, and we'll see him on a new football team next year.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's holding their breath waiting for Aiyuk to come back to this team. What is this? The fifth kind of awkward departure in the Shanahan-Lynch era?
Fifth?
Yeah, because I go back to not one nearly to this magnitude, but
this is by far the worst. Yeah,
this is by far the worst. I go back to like Jerick McKinnon. I go back to
because he tore his ACL and never got back on the field.
Yeah, that it was just this whole situation where he sounded like he was happy to get out of San Francisco and kind of blaming the 49ers on that front.
I
Look
remember
what
that
happened
part.
to Jerick McKinnon in his career after that.
Okay.
Then obviously the thing with Jimmy Garoppolo, and Matt Barrows detailed that game against the Rams where I guess Shanahan and Garoppolo walked by each other and there was no interaction. There was they didn't dap each other up at all.
Okay.
So yeah, that's split. The one that kind of flew under the radar, no one really paid attention because he spent 9 years in San Francisco, but the Jimmy Ward departure wasn't exactly amicable. He didn't have the greatest things to say about how they handled him and how they wanted him to change towards the end of his career.
Not to mention the NFC Championship game where he said, well, I played well.
Yeah, that whole weird situation. And then I kind of count the one with Dre Greenlaw where he sounded like he was disrespected that they didn't want to pay him what he thought he was owed, but also he wanted to be another linebacker with his own team. So I understood that, and we know how that all worked out. So I guess you could count that one, maybe not, but this would be like the fourth strange departure that's happened from it. But the thing that runs common, even though we had this situation with the contract in this offseason, and the fact that it seemed like Brandon Aiyuk was going to be like a wide receiver one on this team that wanted to contend for the playoffs again. But the thing that runs common is I don't know how much this impacts the 49ers moving forward.
Doesn't really.
It, like, of course he'd be a nice added piece, but I think Ricky Pearsall's making his way into becoming a wide receiver one. And I think Shanahan can find other ways to work wide receivers around them. Obviously, the Juwan Jennings thing, I think they're heading towards a split as well. I don't know how much longer Juwan Jennings is going to be on this team.
I would agree with that. Beyond
this year. So maybe it could impact them, but at least for this season, I don't think it makes any difference. I think it's just, it doesn't really like everyone's, bringing up all the skeletons in the closet from the 49ers and their past with draft history and free agent signings and what have you. But every team has mistakes in the draft and every team has mistakes when it comes to free agents. Not a lot of teams draft future Hall of Famers in the late rounds and also pull off one of the most impactful trades in Bay Area sports history by bringing in Christian McCaffrey and then the revelation that is Brock Purdy. So not a lot of teams can get away with it, but the 49ers have, and I think they're fine for this season. Beyond this season, that's obviously left to be determined, but I just think this comes off looking so terrible on Brandon Aiyuk's side. It's terrible.
Absolutely. 100%. And yeah, I'm with you. It does not impact them whatsoever for this season. I think that Brandon Aiyuk came back, it'd be like, all right, and he looks like a shell of his former self. And that's me being presumptuous that he's not going to be the same player he used to be. But when you have what's been described, a catastrophic injury, I don't anticipate him, if it's taking this long for him to come back, I doubt he's going to be an impactful player. So, yeah, I don't think it impacts the 49ers. I think they're fine offensively, and they're realizing they don't need him. Um, you brought up all the players from the past that had their problems with the 49ers out the door. I hear all that, but I would say this is by far the most tumultuous.
Totally,
And
totally.
and
This is one. Those ones I mentioned, like
yeah,
you already said, like you forgot about the Jerick McKinnon one. Like,
right.
who cares about Jimmy Garoppolo? Like, all right, see ya. like don't let the door hit your butt on the way out.
Right.
Although I'm sure like many, female 49er fan base would like to see the door.
I like to
hit
see
the
that,
butt.
but
Yeah, I'd like to see that butt on the way out. They love to see him go, but even more, they love to watch him leave. But this is going to be talked about for years to come, like for the next 10, 20 years. Just this idea that Aiyuk did not buy into this team, even though they gave him $30 million a year. So weird.
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, the fact that they just paid him last August, and now they're already ripping up the contract, which makes me say,
like, so is
Yeah.
he.
Yeah.
It's like it's like John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are on one half of the contract, his hands on the other. He's like, thank you.
yeah, like that's insane to me. Like with a guy that with the injuries that he has, just to throw away money like that, I'm like, dude, that's his agent. I mean, he's done interviews. Ryan Williams, I think his name is of his agent. That's a bad decision to do. Like if you hate the 49ers that much, you're like, I'll take my chances. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he signs right away with those injuries. People are like, well, he's definitely gonna go to the Commanders now. He's gonna team up with Debo and his buddy Jaden Daniels. I don't know about that. Adam Peters might call up Kyle and John and be like, is this a good idea? They'll probably tell him no. So we see it all the time where free agents are waiting till June or July to sign with a team. I'm not saying he's not going to sign with anybody, but I don't think this will be as quickly as people anticipate.
Right. And I was going back and looking at wide receivers who seemed to be number one with their team, but ended up going elsewhere. And the first wide receiver I looked back on was Stephon Diggs, who was in a situation with the Vikings where he's kind of running alongside Adam Thielen. He's looking like he's shaping up to be one of the best in the NFL. And it turned out that he was with the Bills, but he just wanted to be a number one receiver on his own team. And the Bills were the perfect team for that. And it's not like it ended with all this drama. He said there's no ill will towards the Vikings when he got traded to the Bills. He just said they understood it. They understood it was time, and then it turned into Justin Jefferson becoming a number one pick.
Yeah.
But like the point being, like there's ways to go about this where you can want to be a number one guy, a top guy. And I assume that's the problem here with Aiyuk when he's reading the tea leaves, he's seeing Ricky Pearsall. He's seeing Christian McCaffrey kind of turn into almost a wide receiver running back hybrid. What did we call it? What did we call it last week?
We called it a receiver back.
Receiver back, where he's becoming like a receiver back. You got Juwan Jennings, who's back with the team too. Like Aiyuk would just be another piece of the offense, and I think he clearly wants to be a number one. That's fine. No problem with you wanting to be a top receiver on another team, but there's different ways to do that. And I think Stephon Diggs, with his departure from Minnesota, I think that's one to look back on, and you could use a little context and say, yeah, he could have gone about this differently. Like there's
right.
And Diggs ended up getting paid, and now he's playing for the Patriots and just kind of living the life of a normal wide receiver, where wide receivers don't typically stay with one team. So I don't know, man. This is just, other teams can't look at this and say, yeah, we need that guy.
No.
Yeah.
With the injuries and the headache, no, I don't think it's going to be that quickly that he signs. So I'll say this, I'll end the conversation this way, where I think hands down, this is the worst move the 49ers have made. Not anything with voiding the contract. That's a plus. Signing him to that contract, I thought was a mistake then. It's a mistake now, clearly, where I never thought he was a wide receiver one. I had questions about that. I thought he was the best wide receiver on the 49ers, but I don't think he was a type of player that warranted a $30 million contract a year. I thought that to compare him to Amon-Ra St. Brown and all those receivers was a mistake. I don't think he's good. He's not that good. I thought that they were fine trading him away to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then Kyle at the last second was like, I have to keep him. I think that we need him in order to be successful and go back to the Super Bowl. And ever since that time, we've seen articles from Mike Silver earlier this year before the offseason started where we're going to have a different philosophy when we give out contracts and basically saying the organization regrets giving him that deal. So I think you can bring up everything else in the past with the 49ers, the 3 first-round picks to get Trey Lance. This was by far the worst decision to give Brandon Aiyuk that contract, hands down.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't really disagree with you.
Yeah. And I'll also say, I don't know how the 49ers are at fault here. I see a lot of people that you and I like, Bonte, Brad Graham, that, has a 49ers account. Everyone's saying this is also on the 49ers part. They're definitely at fault here. I don't know what they're at fault for. I really don't. Like I'm totally either I'm being oblivious or I'm just not seeing the whole situation. I don't know how the 49ers are at fault with anything when it comes to Brandon Aiyuk.
Well, I think John Lynch wanted him out, and Kyle Shanahan ran up to the front office and said, don't trade him at the last second.
But is that what these guys are applying about, where it was a mistake in the first place? Like, I hear you on that one, but like they're making it seem like they're doing Brandon Aiyuk wrong. And I don't know how they're doing that whatsoever.
I don't think they've done Brandon Aiyuk wrong since paying him, but I do think the fault is on the 49ers for the fact that they're in this position in the first place. They should have and I think someone in the chat mentioned this earlier. I'm trying to find it. Where basically said they didn't expect it with Aiyuk. Like he was normal. He was normal going into the Super Bowl, and then the offseason, he just totally changed. I guess if I'm gonna be playing the advocate of that side, I'd say, yeah, it's on them for not reading into this situation and knowing that they were going to run into this where Aiyuk is clearly not participating in team activities the way that they would want him to. The rehab seemed to have been going well, but Aiyuk was just not following along, and they should have understood that and not paid him $30 million a year. I think I can see where they're coming from by saying the 49ers are at fault. I don't think it's all on Aiyuk. However, it even seems like the 49ers are still giving him a chance. So the fact that he is basically helped with ripping up the contract, that's on Aiyuk for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to wait to hear all the details. Like it's very interesting that something happened in July and we're hearing about it now.
Yeah.
And not that we, if anyone's expecting Kyle Shanahan to tell us that, it's not happening. Like there's some things ahead. Like most NFL coaches come out during press conferences and gives like a spiel about the game or how practice went. Kyle just tells you what he needs to, gives you the list of injuries and like, go ahead.
Yeah.
And if you happen to ask the right thing, he'll tell you, but he's not going to give it to you for free. No.
Yeah, I agree. This Ernie one is interesting. What happened was Aiyuk wasn't loved like Debo, and he's been overlooked. He wishes he was that guy like Kuminga. I would say, I don't know,
dude. I mean, he was like, are you talking about from the fan base or from the team?
I think from the fan base, from maybe both. I mean, I think the team was ready to make him that guy, but drafting Pearsall and using McCaffrey as a wide receiver, like you mentioned before, I have a feeling he looked at that and said, I don't know, man. I need to be.
Okay, well, hold on.
The guy.
Yeah, okay, but that's a terrible mentality. You think that Isaac Bruce or Torrey Holt thought that way with Marshall Faulk catching passes? Come on.
Totally, but who's to say this guy's mentality is in the right place? Like it's not.
He seems to be all over the place. Yeah.
That's why I can agree with what Ernie's saying. And also, I don't know, you go to any 49er event, you go to a game, like how many people are wearing number 11 jerseys? Not a lot. I have not seen a lot of Aiyuk jerseys going out. I've seen a lot of Debo, seen a lot of Kittle, obviously seen a lot of Purdy, whoever's the starting quarterback. Hell, I've seen more Kyle Juszczyk jerseys than I've seen Brandon Aiyuk. So I think I could understand where he's coming from a little bit. And I think something else is Brandon Aiyuk is very online.
Yeah.
Very much online where 49er fans are constantly chirping him nonstop.
Open the motherfucking gates.
There's a segment that are out there saying 49ers are doing you dirty, bro. Can't wait to have you back out there. But there's another
Yeah.
They're saying get off the internet and get back on the damn field.
I think that he lost a lot of fans with the way that he handled the contract negotiations. Even though Debo didn't go about the right way either. There's videos of him like in LA and there's like with the birthday cake and everything saying like, come, like, can't wait to see Debo on the 49ers. He's like shaking his head. No.
Right.
Debo was embraced because he was a physical runner playing, two positions. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle's loved by the fan base. Aiyuk was getting there with the, as my dad, called it, the BA ricochet. And I remember at one point we were talking about how Brandon Aiyuk was the best wide receiver on the football field, and everybody in the chat agreed with us. I would love to hear everybody's thoughts now. Like, did the contract negotiations kind of kill your love for him? Because I think that's how people feel about him now.
Oh, for sure.
His antics, and it became more of, dude, we love you, but you're not Terrell Owens, you're not whoever you want to name, other wide receivers, Stephon Diggs, to the point where we could forgive you for the way you acted. Like, some of it's like batshit crazy, honestly. Like remember having Miyoko on every week with Tolbert and Copes being like, are we close to a deal? And he's like, no, because Brandon Aiyuk changes his mind every fucking day. So I don't know. This is not gonna. I mean, I hear Kyle, and I'm sure John Lynch, whenever he goes on with Murphy Marcus again, he'll talk about how we would love for Brandon Aiyuk to come back, but he's not coming back. It's over.
How do you defend it? That's my question.
I can't.
How do you defend the Brandon Aiyuk thing? Like, anyone who thinks the 49ers are totally in the wrong and this isn't an Aiyuk at all, how do you defend that by saying, wow, money doesn't really matter to him? Wow, stand-up guy. 49ers did him dirty. Like, how do you defend this? You can't. I don't know how you can.
You can't. You definitely can't. All right. Let's go over to the Raiders real quick because today...
Why?
Well, only the reason I'm doing this is because they're playing Shedeur. And we know the Raiders' history with Shedeur.
Yeah.
You and I talked about it where we thought at one point he was going to be their first-round draft pick, which sounds crazy now in hindsight. But we know the relationship with Mark Davis and Tom Brady. And they had 7 chances to draft him this past draft. And they decided not to every single time. And I don't think that Shedeur, you know what? I'll say this. Shedeur should look at it today as a good motivation factor, vengeance against this team that he was linked to for a while. But I'll also say this. If the Raiders lose to him today, that's embarrassing. That will be embarrassing. And it's embarrassing for me being a semi-fan still where I'm like, you can't lose to Shedeur Sanders. He looks terrible. But I also wouldn't be surprised with everything that we've talked about in the past of, it's a different situation, but like a backup quarterback coming in at the last second, or not the last second, but like the Raiders have faced so many backup quarterbacks in the recent years. Name them, Andy Dalton or somebody this year. I'm forgetting at this point, but whenever you expect the Raiders to win, when the other opposing team has a backup quarterback in there, whether it's Baker Mayfield on a short week or whoever, Tyson Bagent for the Bears in recent years, the Raiders get their ass kicked. So all I'm saying today is they should win this game. I know the Browns have a really good defense, and it probably will be a low-scoring game. But if the Raiders lose this game to Shedeur Sanders with how he looked last week, it will be very, very embarrassing.
Well, do you think this is one where maybe heads are going to roll?
No, I don't know if they're going to make a change mid-season like that. I don't think that Mark Davis is going to acquiesce to Tom Brady, and Brady's like, you need to fire Pete Carroll now.
Okay, well, what about Patrick Graham, though?
I don't think anybody is going to get fired during the season. I just don't think I don't think Pete has the mentality of, like, at this point, if they lose today, they'll be 2-9. So we're just going to fire somebody during the year and then whoop-de-doo, we're going to go right the rest of the way. Yeah. I don't think they're going to do that. I think that I even wonder if Mark's just so fed up with firing so many coaches where everything that you say with Ari Meroff makes sense. But I wonder if he's like, I'm not firing Pete Carroll after one season. Pete Carroll's a legend. But
I think the insinuation was that Pete Carroll could step down.
Well, then who the fuck's going to be the coach after that? Jesus.
I don't know.
God. Well,
Lane Kiffin.
Robert Saleh, I think, was second in the running when he interviewed. Yeah. And it sounded like they wanted him to be the coach in waiting, where he knew Pete from his Seattle days. and he would go be defensive coordinator for Pete and then take over for Pete. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, we shall see. But
I'm not going to get excited over any head coaching hire or fire, not until they start winning some games again.
I don't blame you, dude.
I'm not going to no, I just can't. I can't do it. My mental, it's been as worse as it's ever been this season as far as my Raiders fandom. So I can't do it. I can't start rooting. I can't start making assumptions based on like a coaching change and thinking like they're going to start winning games again. Like I need to see it, like the amount of like looking back and reminiscing that Raider fans are doing, acting like, we were in the good old days when Jack Del Rio and Reggie McKenzie were leading this team and Derek Carr was leading the way. I guess so. It's just so sad that those were the good old days. And they haven't had anything better since. I can't do it.
Well,
and, but my immediate thought,
those were good times, Stephen, in 2016.
They were. But my immediate thought, as soon as I saw the Browns are starting Shedeur Sanders against LV, my immediate thought, oh, Raiders are losing. He's going to get the win. Like, this is where everyone is bought into Shedeur Sanders. Like, you could see it coming. Like, you could see the Monday morning quarterback. Maybe we were all wrong about Shedeur after beating a Raiders defense. That should have been pretty good at the start of the season.
Yeah, but also I like that same Raiders defense. It has been bad. It has been.
Right. And
but Cam Ward didn't perform well against them at all. And I think Cam Ward's looked 10 times better, and it's only been a small sample size, but Cam Ward has been better than Shedeur Sanders this year.
True. And the Browns offense you could feel is the same as the Titans offense. Like that Browns defense should have that team better than 2-8, but they're not.
Yeah.
It should be a better than 2-win team with that defense. That offense has just been putrid. But it just
Myles
feels
Garrett might win Defensive Player of the Year again, where he's got 4 sacks last week, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's insane. But it feels like it's setting up for the Raiders to lose. It just does.
I know it feels that way. It's kind of reminiscent, even though he did not look like this guy whatsoever. But remember Baker Mayfield's first start in the NFL was against the Raiders?
Yeah.
And the Raiders won that game. Were you there with me or no? I think I'm with my buddy Daniel Victory. But they were losing. The game went like, was it 45 to 42 in overtime? It was gross.
Yeah.
There was a whole like controversial play where Baker or Derek Carr fumbled, but they didn't call it. They called it down or whatever. Yeah, I could see that happening. Like I just gave you a list of all these backup quarterbacks that came in against the Raiders and beat them. So it's definitely on the table. I just don't think Shedeur Sanders, I think he's going to be a deer in the headlights today. I think that Max Crosby could go off. Yeah. I think this is the game where I know it's on a short week and it's a week-to-week league. I see this is where the Raiders should probably win this game, and it's maybe like 17-7. It's that low scoring. We saw the Jets beat the Browns 2 weeks ago with 2 special teams touchdowns. So I think the Raiders should win this game. I mean, Justin Field threw 30 yards against them? The Raiders should win this game today. I understand, like Tacky in the chat here saying the Browns have a D, the Raiders have nothing. I get that. But they should beat this team with Shedeur Sanders with how bad he looked a week ago.
Agreed. But I also think beyond just Shedeur, everyone's going to be focused on Shedeur. You know who I think this is a big game for? It's Ashton Genty. Because a lot of people saying...
I felt a whole lot better about him running against the Cowboys defense than the Browns defense.
Right. But it's a huge game for him because you're going opposite another rookie running back in Judkins.
Yeah.
And Judkins is a guy from, Ohio State that obviously won the championship last year. I think this is just a big game for him in terms of how much people have kind of been proven right about the fact that the Raiders shouldn't have drafted him as high as they did. And that's not on Genty at all. That's not on Genty. But you don't want people vindicated on an idea that you shouldn't have been taken top 10. Like, even if it was the team's fault, you don't want your name to be lumped in with that.
Yeah.
So I just think this is a big game for him. Like, I'm not saying it's his coming out party. He's probably going to get stonewalled. But the fact that you have another rookie running back opposite you, and I think, is he the only one that does he have more yards than him? I think he's the only one. Let me check. Yeah, he is the only rookie that has more rushing yards than him. Judkins has 620. Gentry has 554. Like, I think this is a big one to show that he's the best rookie running back in the NFL, despite which team took him. It is the Raiders' fault at the end of the day, but I think Gentry should take it personally.
Well, let's pick that game along with others and a little something we call wins or let me count, Steven, or wings. There we go. All right, everybody, we're going to pick Week 12 in the NFL, and Steven and I are tied up 1-1 after both of us picked the Bills to win, and we laid the points. Not on that one, but we got the under right. All right, let's start off with the Jets at the Baltimore Ravens. Big old spread. Ravens are favored by 13.5, over-under 44.5.
I am going to lay the points with the Ravens, and funnily enough, I'll take the over.
I'm taking the over as well, doing the exact same thing, taking the Ravens, laying the points. I just think the Ravens rout them today. Simple as that. Then we got another big old spread. The Seahawks taking on the Tennessee Titans. The Seahawks are 12.5-point favorites, over under 40.5.
I think this needs to be a bounce back for the Seahawks, so I'm going to lay the points with them, and I'll take the 41 feels like a pretty small number with what the Seahawks can put. Like, the Seahawks can hang 40 on them alone, so I'm going to take the over.
I'm taking the over as well. I just think that you saw Torrey Horton, their rookie wide receiver. I know, I'm pronouncing my T's now, Steven. He's on IR, so you might see Rashid Shaheed used more in the offense. And yeah, Sam Darnold needs to bounce back from his 4-interception game. So give me the Seahawks laying the points. Then we got the Patriots taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. We thought that Joe Burrow may actually play in this game because he practiced in full, I think, for the majority of the week. But they're going to hold him out one more week, and we might see him Thanksgiving Day against the Ravens, which would be awesome. But the Patriots are 7.5-point favorites, over under 50. The Bengals will be without Jamar Chase as well because he was suspended for one game for spitting on Jalen Ramsey.
Patriots are going to keep it rolling. They're going to go 10-2. But funnily enough, I'll have the Bengals covering. I just think that's a pretty big spread.
Okay.
And I'll take the under.
I'm going to take the over. I think with the Patriots, they can put up some points, and then we know that the Cincinnati Bengals defense cannot stop anybody. Yeah, give me the Patriots to win. I'll lay the points. And yeah, I think that the Patriots keep it rolling, especially without Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase for the Bengals. Then we got the Giants taking on the Detroit Lions. Another big spread. Lions are 13.5-point favorites, over under 15.5. Big injury, though, for the Lions. Sam Laporta out for the rest of the season with a back injury.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, huge.
God. What'd you say the point spread was?
13.5.
13.5? Jesus Christ. Because it opened at 11.5. I haven't looked at this game at all.
Jameis, I think, is still starting. Yeah, because Jackson Stark still is dealing with the concussion.
And he's focused now on his, I think, post-game playing career. He said recently that he wants to be an in-game analyst, which I almost don't want him to be. That's too, it's too buttoned up. I need him to be loose. You know, I need him to be out in the field.
Yeah, but like, wouldn't he be out in the field? Like, is he saying like a sideline reporter?
No, just like in-studio funny guy.
Oh, in-studio funny guy would be good. Games, no, I don't need him analyzing the game.
That's what he wants to do, though. He wants to be a game analyst, and it's just too much of a buttoned-up job. Like J.J. Watt and Ryan Eagle are trying their hardest.
Dude, pre-game and post-game, like, dude, I saw Teddy Bruschi doing a whole segment today breaking down Jordan Love with Tina Turner's "What's Love Got to Do with It." It's not buttoned up as you think it is.
No, I'm not saying pre-game and post-game. I'm saying in-game analysis.
Oh, no, he shouldn't be on games. No,
that's
not
what
at
he
all.
wants to be. I'm saying he should be pre and post.
Watch Fox give him that job, but no, he should be on a post-game show or pre-game show.
I agree. That's what I want. Lay the points with the Lions. Give me the over because it's Jameis.
Yeah, I think Jameis is good for a couple of picks today. Yeah, with all the nice things I said about him being on TV, yeah, I think that he shits the bed today. And I think the Lions need a rebound after only scoring 9 points against the Eagles. So, yeah, give me the Lions, lay the points. Over on the 50.5. Then we got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Green Bay Packers. No Josh Jacobs today. He's officially out. The Packers are 6.5-point favorites, over under 41.5.
Yeah, this line hasn't really moved too much, but I'll have the Packers winning at home, and I'll have the Vikings covering, but I'll take the under. I think it could be kind of a barn burner type of a game.
Yeah, I kind of see this game being like a 24-10 type of game where I think J.J. McCarthy, he flashes at times, but I think the pass rush of the Packers will get to him. I think that Jordan Love, even though it was, a squeaker against the Giants, he had some big-time throws. Sounds like they're getting Jaden Reed back, not today, but in a couple of weeks. I think Eugene Wilson could fill in nicely for Josh Jacobs. So I think it's a low-scoring game. Give me the Packers. I'll lay the points, but I'm going under on the 41.5. Then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Chicago Bears. No Aaron Rodgers today. He broke his non-throwing hand, or small fracture, I guess. Dan Graziano had a great tweet today where he was kind of trying to give intel if Aaron Rodgers was going to play, and he was like, "Well, he flipped us off with his right hand, so maybe he's preserving his left hand." Regardless, Evan Washburn caught up with Mike Tomlin before the game, and Tomlin confirmed no Aaron Rodgers today. By the way, also Jalen Ramsey fined for his punch of Jamar Chase, even though he spit on him. That's ridiculous. That's stupid.
Yeah, I know.
So the Bears are 2.5-point favorites, over under 46.5.
Yeah, I'm going to lay the points with the Bears, and I'll take the over because I think the Bears, they're leading the league in takeaways right now. I think Mason Rudolph is going to throw a couple of picks. So if you can find the Bears defense in fantasy, if they're free agents, I would go and pick them up right now. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, at least fantasy-wise for the Bears defense, but I also think they're going to win it totally. So, yeah, lay the points with the Bears, and I'll take the over.
I'm taking the Steelers to win this game. I think that the Steelers defense could show up big time. I know that in recent weeks they haven't performed well. Well, actually, I shouldn't say in recent weeks, but games, against the who was it against? The Steelers, or sorry, the Packers, and the Chargers. Their defense didn't look great, but last week they had 2 defensive touchdowns. They're getting back. Who's it? Cameron Hayward today, and Darius Slay. I think that Caleb Williams could struggle against this Pittsburgh's defense. Give me the Steelers to win, and I'll go under on the 46.5. Yeah, I know. It sounds crazy, but I think Mason Rudolph could do enough to win this game. Dude, we saw Davis Mills win on Thursday night. Anything's possible.
Yeah, but I think the Texans defense won that more than. Okay, whatever. Keep going.
I think the Steelers defense can win it for him. I think that TJ Watt can cause some turnovers. That Bears defense, yes, they get turnovers, but they're a little more opportunistic. They're not really great when it comes to points. So I think the Steelers, this would be totally like a Mike Tomlin game where you least expect it, but I think they go into Chicago and win this game. And then we got the big matchup of the morning slate. We got the Colts taking on the Chiefs. Chiefs at 5-5 are 3.5-point favorites, over under 49.5.
Play the points with the Chiefs. Give me the over.
Yeah. Despite how well the Colts have been playing this year, I'm still taking the Chiefs. This seems like a game where they bounce back from their loss to the Denver Broncos. They're at home. I could see Daniel Jones struggling in this game. So give me the Chiefs. You're going over, Steven, on the 49.5?
Yeah.
I'm going to go under. I think it's more of a defensive game, but give me the Chiefs, and I'm laying the points. Then we got the afternoon slate, the Jacksonville Jaguars. After a really good performance against the Chargers, 35-6. They're taking on the Arizona Cardinals with Jacoby Brissett and his 47 completions from a week ago. The Jaguars are 2.5-point favorites, over under 47.5.
Yeah, lay the points with the Jags and take the over.
I am taking the over, but the Jags are a screwy team. I'm taking the Cardinals. I got the Cardinals win this game. Give me the over. I'm going crazy today, Steven. Then we got the Cleveland Browns going to the Raiders. Take on the Raiders. And Shedeur Sanders gets his first start. Raiders are 3.5-point favorites, over under a whopping 36.
Yeah, I'll take the Browns to win. Give me the under.
Ooh, Steven. All right, I understand why you feel that way. I'm taking the Raiders to win. I'm laying the points. I think this is going to be a very, very low-scoring game. But give me the Raiders. I'm going under on the 36 as well. I just think this could be like a 17-7 type of game.
Oh, man. Poor who's it going to be? Stone Forsythe, and who's on the right side now? Is DJ Glaze still on the right side of the offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, this could be a game where Myles Garrett has 6 sacks and still loses.
Their lunch is going to get eaten today.
Yeah, as Skill says in the chat right now, Browns win 3-2. Yeah, sounds about right. Then we got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the New Orleans Saints. Falcons, you might start hearing that Raheem Morris is on the hot seat, and he should be. Saints are favored by 1.5, over under 40.
Yeah, I'll just this is a really hard game to pick.
And Kirk Cousins starting now with Michael Penix out for the season with did the Raiders dodge a bullet here with this is his 3rd ACL tear?
I think
his short
did.
NFL career his NFL or his, not NFL football career?
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, I'll take the Falcons to win. Take the Falcons to win, and I'll go over. 41's a kind of tough number.
I'll take the Saints. I'll lay the points, and I'll go under on the 40. I think that Kirk. I don't know if he's that guy anymore. He's struggling of late. The Saints defense isn't bad. They got some players, and I think that Tyler Shough does enough to win the game. Moving on, we got the big game of the afternoon slate. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Philly favored by 3, over under 47.5.
I'll lay the points with Philadelphia, but I'll take the under.
I'm going over, and I'm laying the points with Philly. I think this is where the offense gets right. And, yeah, I just think that Dallas' defense is terrible, coming on a short week back home. But, yeah, I think this is where you see the passing game for the Eagles explode and Saquon go off. And, A.J. Brown's a little happier this week. Despite the fact that we don't need to play it, but, like, when someone asked him earlier this week, like, do you hear the narratives that you're not the same player anymore? And he's like, well, that must be the case for Saquon too then. It's like, dude, what's wrong? Like, everything's about you? Jesus Christ. Good Lord. Then we got the Sunday Night Football game. The Bucs taking on the Rams. Rams favored by a touchdown, 7 points. Over under 49.5.
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. But I think the Rams are so good they'll win, but I think the Buccaneers are going to cover that number. I think it could be closer than that. So yeah, give me the Bucs to cover, Rams to win, and I'll just take the over because I feel like it's malpractice if you do anything else with the Rams.
Yeah, I'm taking the exact same thing as you, Steven. Give me the Rams. I think that the Buccaneers, they're on might be a 3-game losing streak, whatever it is right now. They show a little fight, but I think the Rams are just that much better. They might be the best team in the whole NFC. Might be the best team in football right now. Yeah, give me the Rams. Take the Bucs to cover, but I'm going over on that 49.5. And then we got the Monday night game between the Carolina Panthers and San Francisco 49ers. Niners favored by 7.5. Over under 49.5. No Tatum Bethune. He is out with a high ankle sprain. So you got Curtis Robinson controlling the middle of the defense. And you got Matthew Gay filling in for Eddie Pinheiro for the time being.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, man. I don't know if the Niners are going to dominate so much that they're going to lead by a touchdown. I'll take the Panthers to cover that. I guess I'll have the 49ers winning. And I'll take the over because I think Bryce Young's pretty good and they can score some points. I don't know why. That's an interesting point spread there.
It is. I think the key to this game for the Panthers is if they slow it down and it's a defensive slugfest, they'll probably win. Like, that's been their formula for the most part of this season, where they just want these long, methodical drives to Rico Dowdle. And now with the Niners defense banged up even more with Curtis Robinson, that could be the case. Happened against the Packers a couple weeks ago for the Panthers. However, I think the 49ers, if they use the same game plan that they had against the Falcons, they can win this game by 10 points. It's kind of the same formula where Bijan Robinson was the main focus of the offense, and Drake London's a really good receiver. If you take care of those guys, then I think they're fine. I think that the defense for the 49ers has not been great, but if you force Bryce Young to beat you, I think that can be effective, and I know that he threw for 448 yards last week, but that was mainly to Teteroa and McMillan. So if you find a game plan where you take him away and you shut down the run with Rico Dowdle, I think the Niners can win this game by 10 points.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So
take away their top receiver and top running back, yeah, they're probably going to win.
Yeah. To simplify it like that, Steven, absolutely.
Yeah.
So give me the Niners. I'll lay the points, and I'll go over on the 49.5.
Yeah.
And there you go. Those are our picks for Week 12 in the NFL. Before we get out of here, let's do a little jackass of the week. Steven, do you have anybody?
Well, I don't know. This one, it feels like this is almost too easy. Because you mentioned one, and I think AJ Brown has every reason to be considered a jackass for the week for those comments on Saquon. But if we were talking about the Warriors game earlier, I think you got to give it to Rick Barry. Like,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I don't even know the context of this, but I'm not surprised whenever you could throw Rick Barry for jackass of the week.
You haven't seen this?
No.
Dude, he just went at Coletta unnecessarily for saying that he couldn't do his underhand free throws. I'm sorry, like they were celebrating the 1975 team on Friday, which they deserve, I think, more love among the Warriors organization, and that's myself included, especially with a much younger fan base, a fan base that's full of Gen Zers. They should know that, this thing didn't start the dynasty started in 2014, but they did win their first championship in 1975. So very apt that they do the celebration on the 50-year anniversary with the living members of the team. Much respect for all of them. But when you're doing a celebration, there's no need to just be Rick Barry and keep taking cheap shots at the current NBA players. This was during the broadcast Friday.
Here's Buddy Hield trying to shoot underhand free throws.
Yeah, but his form is, he still made one, but his form was terrible. Your hands don't go flying out. But it's proven scientifically to be the most efficient way to shoot a free throw, and yet people won't do it. It doesn't make any sense. My youngest son, Canyon, who played in the Olympics in 3x3, and actually he was a 90% shooter.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Rick. I tried it, and I struggle with it, so I might need your pointers as well. But
but the thing about it is that you're not a player.
Wait, what? Coletta played in the league. I played in the league. No, you're not.
But you're not a player. I mean, a real player would have learned how to do it properly. Okay, if you really had the skills and the desire to do it, you would be a better free throw shooter. But if I had taught you the right technique, you probably would have done it. But no, there's nobody around teaching it properly. That's the problem.
Shots fired for Rick Barry. All right, well.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Like that's why AJ. That's why Rick is catching a stray, because Coletta unnecessarily caught a stray, and for that, sorry, you get a jackass of the week.
Wow.
It's just like, I know it's
you know what? Can't say I'm surprised. I have a lot of respect for Rick Barry for being one of the greatest Warriors of all time, but this is Rick's MO. Booked him many times, always willing to come on and talk about his son Canyon. Not Cannon, Scooter Barry. I'm thinking of Steph Curry's son. But Rick, that's Rick, man. That is Rick to a T. He loves himself some Rick.
Yeah. It's just to do it to arguably like the nicest guy in Bay Area media. Come on. Well, you just weren't a real player. Well, he at least got to the NBA. And no, Coletta wasn't the best. I ended up looking at his free throw percentages, and he was like a 77% career free throw shooter, so he could have been better. But when Coletta's just trying to have some friendly banter about the underhand shot and just saying, well, I couldn't do it. Well, yeah, that's because you're not a real NBA player. Like, what?
That's
too much, man.
This is crazy. Come on, people. I'm the best.
It was a little too over that's a little too over the line, my man.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you some stories that I heard from KMBR when Rick was doing his radio show from back in the day.
You don't need to do that. Not at least publicly.
No, not publicly. I think people know the shower. He was doing the show from the shower one time. Anyway, we can move on from that. My jackass of the week, thought about doing Aubrey Huff, but he's just always a jackass. You can look at the Twitter post he had earlier this week.
Oh God.
I'm going with Stephen A. Smith and Cam Newton and Newton. Everybody, there you go. Rockin' New Era was keeping track of my T's today. Just the whole thing with Drake May, and we don't even play. We don't need to play the audio, but Drake May was just asked a simple question Cam Newton is allowed to give his opinion about the Patriots and how long they're going to go in the AFC playoffs, and he doesn't buy them. That's fine. I'm not buying them either. That's totally fine. You can have that opinion. And then they asked Drake May on WEEI, and he was like, "Yeah, and Drake May looked up to Cam Newton growing up. Like he idolized him, growing up in North Carolina. I think he did, but just playing for UNC, yeah, he loved himself some Cam. So I don't think he was being disrespectful in any regard. And they asked him about it, and he was like, I don't pay attention to what the media says. I don't even know what show Cam's on right now, so I'm not, I'm not, paying attention to any of that. And I buy him because Drake May seems like a dude that's focused on football. A couple weeks ago, when they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tracy Wolfson on the sideline asks Drake, did you see the Buffalo Bills lose today? And he says, no, I don't pay attention to the Bills. I'm focused on the Patriots. For then Stephen A. to go on his show and be like, he's a liar. Drake May's a liar. Everybody that's an athlete at the professional level knows that First Take is the number one show in all sports. And if you don't know that, then you're a liar. It's like, no, is it fair to say that so many ESPN personalities are on different shows that we don't know that Cam's on First Take? So, and also he got into this whole argument that Cam is disrespected because he was a great player in the NFL, but now he's mocked for being in the media. And he's like, I don't know anything about sports. I didn't play the game. But you're going to disrespect Cam like that? A guy that played in the NFL? He's not disrespecting him. And also, it's fair to say that Cam was a great player in the NFL and won MVP, and at one point was this electric player that we all watched. But it's also fair to say, like, yes, he knows, the ins and outs of the NFL, but also he's ridiculous with some of his takes. Absolutely ridiculous. Like the way that he's talking about how Kevin Stefanski is out to get Shedeur Sanders and can't relate to him, and where he lists like Kevin and the way he talks too is just ridiculous. Kevin Stefanski has had players like Case Keenum. He's like implying that he's had a bunch of white backups, so he can't relate to Shedeur Sanders. Where multiple media members are like, Cam, this is a nonsensical take. This is ridiculous. And it doesn't require Kevin Stefanski to relate to a 5th-round draft pick, where we all know that most likely he's not going to be the guy for them for the long-term future. People are going to have a problem with that. But yeah, you can say in the same breath that Cam was a great player in the NFL, but he is a clown in the media. Just as much as Ryan Clark's a clown or Shannon Sharp's a clown. Those guys play their ass off in the NFL. But some of the shit that they say in the media makes them clowns. You can say that. So for that, I would say Stephen A. Smith and Cam Newton are my jackasses of the week.
Also, just to piggyback off that, first you had Portnoy, obviously big Patriots fan.
Yeah.
Come out and demand the apology from Stephen A.
No, that's
everyone go after him. Stephen A. goes on his podcast and say, I won't give in to any demands, let alone from Dave Portnoy. And then he apologized. He said he was being facetious. He said he was being facetious. And the thing that gets me too is Stephen A. keeps having this idea that they're number one in the ratings and have always have been. How many people, I'd love to see it, how many people or how much of those ratings do people actually sit down, turn the volume on, and watch that show all the way through? Because I think many fans or many people who have First Take on the TV consume it the same way I do, with the sound off, because you just want something on in the background. Yeah. It's on at gyms, it's on at restaurants, and the amount that must take up in America for the ratings to be where they're at. It just so happens a lot of people are at the gym in that time. A lot of people just keep ESPN on in the airport, in the name it, really anywhere.
Like, dude, I was in Hawaii and I saw it everywhere just because it's an easy thing. ESPN is your go-to thing, like CNN or anything for sports, and people just put it on to see the ticker.
Yeah.
See, like most of it now is just ridiculous, a banner or a lower third of like a hot take headline. But people just want to see the scores. It is like, even though we live in this day and age where we can see scores on our phones, still people will walk by at the gym, at the airport, whatever, look at the ticker and see who won last night. That is basically why ESPN is on every single TV when it comes to gyms, bars, hotels, airports, whatever.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. So that argument is dumb. And I just don't think a lot of, especially people Drake May's age, they just don't watch live television anymore, cable television. Like,
Yeah.
they watch YouTube, they watch Instagram, they watch TikTok. Like, they don't watch ESPN. So, and Cam Newton's on once a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Once a week. It's every Friday. Like,
Exactly.
you may not even think like Cam Newton has a regular part on the show. By the way, so as you can see, I'm doing this not from my regular
Usual setup.
I'm in my dining room, and I got to be honest, I got an ant infestation in here.
You just realizing?
I haven't been back to this part of the apartment in a minute, and I got a line of ants. I was like, what the hell is that crawling on my foot? And I looked down, I was like, oh snap, there's like a line of ants just waiting to eat here. I don't know what it is, man, but I got to get this sorted out after we're done.
You need some Raid or whatever you'd use for ants. Don't want ants.
Ants around here.
Oh, well, with that in mind, I have nothing for pop culture catch up. You want to just end it there, Steven, so you can get rid of this ant infestation?
I mean, what's to say we can do an extra couple of minutes. I do. Yeah, I know, AJ. I need to sweep the floor. You're not wrong there.
Vacuum
AJ
up the floor. Hey,
at 75-XY3WG.
Yeah, what's up with these new things? Everybody needs like a handle now.
I don't know. It's a StreamYard update. For pop culture catch up, man, I saw one battle after another twice in the last week.
Ooh, what'd you think?
Obviously, I loved it. I saw it on Wednesday after work at the Metreon, just as one of like 5 people in the theater, in a big ass theater.
Okay.
And then saw it yesterday with Jesse before we went to the Sharks game in San Jose. And
tough loss last night.
It's just so good, dude. It's such a it's so layered. I mean, it's funny. It's got a little bit of like Terminator 2. You mentioned the Big Lebowski all over it. Absolutely. It's got the whole. It's basically a movie about a father and his daughter, but also the mom is kind of the driving force throughout. And Sean Penn is back to being Sean Penn. He's kind of like a mix of like RFK Jr. and Vince McMahon. And I think he's unbelievable. Like the facial expressions that he makes. I thought it was just Leo. I'm not going to say it's like best actor award automatically goes to Leo for that, but he's so funny. Benicio del Toro as the sensei. He's
my favorite part. And the one of the best lines in that movie is when he gets pulled over and they're like, "Sir, have you been drinking?" A couple beers.
I've had a few beers, a few small beers. It's just so, and it's much deeper than just what you're getting on the surface. Because what you're getting on the surface is, a father trying to find his daughter.
Yeah.
But it's a lot deeper than that. It's also like current. I think a lot of PTA movies aren't exactly held in current day. A lot of them are held like, in the 80s or something like Boogie Nights, Inherent Vice.
Or the 1910s with that. I think, or There Will Be Blood.
Yeah. So I think it was just, I think it was profound. It was hilarious. And somehow it balanced all of that out to make like just a really layered, fun movie to take in at the theater. And the reason I went to watch it twice and had Jesse come watch it with me is because, or I wanted Jesse to watch it is because of like the music, the piano in the background. It's just
a little dirty work action.
Yeah, a little dirty work action. It's constant, dude. It's just, I don't know. Can't say enough good about the movie. My favorite part by far is it's when Leo is sending his daughter to the high school dance and her friends come up to the doorstep and he's just now super paranoid. Super paranoid, super high. And we're just talking about freedom and what freedom means and how you need to be independent. And then when he like gives her a hug, he just smacks her on the back as he's like looking at the friend. Just, I mean, I could go through it. The rooftop scene,
Yep.
God, just that entire sequence where Del Toro is like, he's giving him the gun. I'm not trying not to spoil anything, but he's like in the dojo. He's trying to get him the gun. Just that whole sequence where, like, from start to finish, where he leaves Benicio del Toro, and it's just so good, man. He's like, courage. Just loved it. So that'd be my number one thing.
Yeah, I think that we'll be talking about it a lot more come Oscar season. And I don't know if DiCaprio is going to get Best Actor. I could see Sean Penn getting Best Supporting Actor. I think Del Toro will get a nomination along with the other actresses in the movie.
Yeah.
I think this will be like PTA's crowning achievement when it comes to accolades. He'll probably get Best Director and Best Screenplay. This might get Best Picture. And I talked about it when I reviewed it when I saw it that weekend. Just funny. This is by far the funniest movie I've seen this year. Even with like Naked Gun, you expected it to be funny. I was not expecting how funny this movie is and how poignant it is. And as you said, Stephen, how timely, what it talks about, but at the same time, just how goofy it is.
Yeah.
One of my favorite performances is Jim Downey, famous SNL writer. He's in the movie, but there's these like Tarantino-esque scenes where they're making fun of the current times and whatever the Christmas coalition thing they're starting.
Christmas Adventurers Club.
The Christmas Adventurers Club. And just, you could tell what they're talking about and what they're implying, and just how the satire is just beautiful. And the phrase "semen demon" is hilarious. So we'll talk about this movie a lot more. It'll probably be on HBO Max pretty soon here. More people will watch it, and it will be, I think the buzz will start circulating around Oscar time.
For sure. I agree.
Yeah. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for today. We will be back on Tuesday. I'll figure out a time because I will be in Houston, but yeah, I'll be on with Steven. We'll figure out something that day. And yeah, thanks everybody that's listening and watching. I may post this just as a podcast. I'll take out all the, the stuff that doesn't add up for later on, like our picks and Shedeur Sanders. So maybe that will be taken out of the podcast version if you want to listen later. But thanks everybody in the chat. Thanks to, I have no idea who this person that just popped up. Ike. Who the hell? Ike knew about it. Oh,
I knew about Brock first.
I knew about Brock first. All right, well done. Rock a New Era. Tacky 69 now. Yeah. AJ Cruz, Ernie 1, the Skills Report. Yeah, the YouTube fucked up with these names now, guys. This is bad. AJ Cruz, I probably named you already. I believe that is it. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday. Steven, say what you always say.
It's just our opinion, man. Viva la revolution.
Enjoy the games, everybody.